Greetings, Vammers. How are you all doing today? Well, as I said last week, here is my Smash Brothers video. My top 10 choices of which characters I want to see in Smash Brothers Ultimate. When I first saw that teaser trailer, there was only one thing that was going through my head. Hype! Well, what did you expect? It's Smash Brothers. A new Smash Brothers, not a port. And they've gotten every single playable character from the series so far. And a couple of the characters who were recently announced, I actually was going to kind of say I wanted on my list. But now know this, I'm only saying this as characters that I would like to see. You can agree, you can disagree, but I'm not going to deny it. I really kind of hope for a couple of them. A couple might be obvious. Let's begin. Number 10. Banjo-Kazooie. Now come on, who doesn't want to see this character get in? And yes, I know Nintendo no longer works with Rare, apparently due to so many differences, but I think they can make up, surely. Plus, it'd be nice, especially considering Microsoft did jack friggin' shit with it. But that's another video. Banjo-Kazooie, I think, would belong in Smash. It would be likely they would be an assist trophy, but I would hope for a playable character. Especially since there are a few ways how it could work. Kazooie shoots eggs, they can fly for a moment, they have particularly strong strikes, and the Super Smash could be them being invincible for a little bit. Perhaps it would be a little too similar to Super Sonic, but there are ways how they can make it unique. Plus, Banjo deserves one hell of a comeback, let's face it. Number 9. Now, I'm going to be just a little obscure with this list. And by little, I mean perhaps a fair amount. Mainly because, well, I had to give myself a challenge, especially since I had to change my list. So I thought, what old Nintendo game could work? What old classic could be brought back? Then it hit me. One of the hardest Nintendo games to ever finish. That could be remade into an awesome game. And perhaps it could all start by introducing this character into Smash Brothers. And this character, the Burai Fighter. For those who don't know, the Burai Fighter was a kind of side-scroller. Well, an automatic side-scroller where you play as a character who could pretty much move in all directions, but had to not be either crushed by the stage or blown up by the enemy. And he could power up his weapons, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It sounds very simple, but oh, it's so cool in effect. And his moves could be perfect. He could do the basic melee attacks, but then his B specials could be either the laser, the missile, or the ring thing. I still have no idea what they are to this day. Each one has a different function. And his ultimate would be a kind of power burst. Tell me this character doesn't sound cool. And also, there's a cool fact about the game, and I'll only say play the game, or at the very least watch a walkthrough and watch the credits. You won't be disappointed. Number 8. Joanna Dark. Oh, Joanna. You could... Oh, Joanna. Joanna, you were amazing. Why? Why did they not treat you better? Joanna Dark of the video game Perfect Dark. The Nintendo 64 game James Bond GoldenEye. One of the few great movie-to-video game adaptations. Its gameplay and multiplayer was revolutionary for its time, and well, in some respects it still holds the standard. But then along came Perfect Dark, and what GoldenEye revolutionized, Perfect Dark perfected. No pun intended. But seriously, there was some decent voice acting, a brilliant array of weaponry, a decent story, and of course, Joanna Dark being a cool character with a great design, great personality, great story, and not a Mary Sue or a Gary Stu, unlike certain others. She would be such a fun character to have involved. More likely perhaps to be an assist trophy, but if they made her playable, she could use a wide variety of weapons, she could have a particular melee attack where she disarms her enemy, and as for her ultimate smash, well, there's a particular bomb that could be used in... let's just say that even though it didn't do that much damage, the person who copped it, well, they really copped it. And I am not sorry for the times I used it. Number 7. With this one, I really tried to be left field with my choice for a video game that deserves some sort of comeback. And there was a video game which, in a way, was kind of ahead of its time. A basic fantasy story where a kid who's from New York or Chicago or some American city, I can't remember off the top of my head, he's pulled into a medieval world. And he has to fight through monsters and everything like that, though there was something special about this kid where he's able to fight with weapons like no one's business. That is Astyanax. It was originally on the arcade known as the Astyanax, or the Lord of King as it was known in Japan. The Lord of King, that kind of sounds redundant, but that's neither here nor there. But when it was released for the NES, it was simply titled Astyanax, and the story was altered. And looking at it, there is so much potential. He has different magical abilities, he could use different weapons, and there could be a chance for him to actually make a comeback. That is, if there could be certain deals made. Business is business, stuff that happens behind closed doors, blah blah blah. But I look at Astyanax and think, he could be a great callback to the 80s. But there could be a great modern twist on it. Because for what it's worth, there was a decent story behind it. This kid who had to fight his way through monsters, had to save a princess who was kidnapped, and the villain, Blackhorn, was a cool-looking villain, I might say. Why not try the challenge? Why not? Simplicity seems to work best for these smaller games, and they can have a really big effect. I've yet to find one person who hates this game. Oh, okay, they hate that one particular level. Let's not go there. Astyanax deserves a chance for a comeback. That's why he's my number 7 pick for characters I want to see in Smash Ultimate. Number 6. Crash Bandicoot. Do I need to say anything more? Really? It's Crash friggin' Bandicoot. I can't help but feel like that this character will actually be announced in the next Nintendo Direct. It's just an obvious choice. Seriously, Crash Bandicoot. He's kind of everywhere now. Make it happen. I don't need to say any more. Moving on. Number 5. Any character from ARMS. Now, personally, I want Twintail. I know Ribbon Girl is probably a bit more popular. Yeah, just a bit. But Twintail just has a much cooler design and just has this cool personality. And just this cool vibe about her in general. I've yet to find one person who does not like Twintail, and hell, she kind of stole Markiplier's heart.
I called dibs on Twintail. That's you know that thing we were talking about. You don't know what you want until you see it. Oh my god! Like I don't say this about a lot of game characters, but that is so cute.
Yeah.
I've never fallen in love this quickly before.
But look at my dude. Look at my dude.
There's really so much you can do with Twintail. There really, really is. And come on, Nintendo, do you want to break Markiplier's heart? Please, just add Twintail to the roster.
Do it.
Number 4. Either Raiden, Meryl, or Liquid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. I can't choose between the three because I think they could all actually work in their own way. Raiden, depending which Raiden you use. But I guess we're gonna go with Revengeance Raiden if we're gonna add him. And, you know, that just speaks for itself. Meryl could be a little bit of a Snake clone, but whereas Snake focuses on strength, she could focus on speed and finesse. There are so many things you could do with Meryl. And Liquid Snake? Perhaps he could be an echo to Solid, though with a few slight differences. Where he's just a little bit faster, but not quite as strong as Snake. And perhaps they would have a different ultimate smash. But I don't need to say any more than that. So why not? Another Metal Gear Solid character. Make it happen. Or at the very least, another assist trophy. Come on. Number 3. This one? I don't understand how it hasn't happened yet. There is one video game done by Square, which many cite as the greatest JRPG ever done, and... yeah, quite possibly. I keep going back and forth between 3 games as to my pick for the best JRPG. They are Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII, and Chrono Trigger. Which brings me to my character choice, Chrono, from Chrono Trigger. He's a perfect fit for this game. And since Chrono Trigger has had a bit of a resurgence, albeit with a very rough start, well done. Why do you suck at ports unless it was Final Fantasy IX, you bloody friggin' moron? But seriously, Chrono could work so damn well in Smash Brothers. And you know, he could still be a silent protagonist. All you do is just have attack noises. His moveset would be off the chart. He's a katana-wielding, lightning magic user. Tell me that doesn't sound cool. I can already picture his ultimate smash should be the Luminaire attack from the original game. Any of his B attacks could be any of his old tech attacks, such as Cyclone, Frenzy, Lightning and Cleave and Windslash. There's just no way how he can't work as a playable character. And then you could have assist trophies such as Marley, Luca, Frog, Robo, Ayla, and of course, Magus. Each one would have their own special ability. Marley could provoke an opponent and then use an ice magic on them. Luca could set someone on fire. Frog could use a jump slash and then blast them away with water. Robo could use some sort of laser attack. Ayla is just a really strong, mighty cave girl. And then there's Magus. Dark matter. Enough said. Come on, Nintendo. Make it happen. Especially since Chrono Trigger was originally on the Super Nintendo. Which, by the way, obviously not a sponsor or anything, but get the 3DS version of Chrono Trigger. Steam is not worth it. At least not yet. Number 2. Sephiroth. Oh, come on. Why not?
If you love him so much, why don't you marry him?
Shut up. You will pay for that.
Oh, that's right, you're married to me!
As to why Sephiroth would work so well in Smash Brothers, well, actually, how can he not work? He has so many amazing attacks. His ultimate smash, it's Supernova. Just, it's Supernova. How could it not happen? He's got a wide variety of physical attacks with a couple of magic attacks, including Meteor, which will just be his normal B special. In fact, now that I think about it, there's actually a fan Smash wiki where some of these characters actually could come into the fray. And they've set up a great array of how these attacks, how these characters could work as playables. A link in the description below. But if you're going to get Cloud, why not get Sephiroth? It just makes too much sense. Especially since, you know, the eventual Final Fantasy VII Remake. Eventual. I mean, hey, Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out next year, so anything's possible. Square, I know I'm hard on you, but that's because I care for you. And when you do get it right, it is just beyond magical. But right now, you must be wondering why this hyperactive Final Fantasy VII fanboy put Sephiroth at number 2, not at number 1. Well, before I get to that, a few honorable mentions. A Soul Calibur character like Mitsurugi, Nightmare, Siegfried, or, if they're feeling daring enough, Ivy. It only makes sense, considering how Soul Calibur 6 is just around the corner and, good promotion, and few of these could work as playables or even assist trophies. Jin Kazama from Tekken. Well, why not? They got Ryu. But Jin deserves a little bit more in the spotlight. Goku and Vegeta, because why not? Everyone seems to want Goku. And if you're going to get Goku, you have to put in Vegeta. There's no two ways about it. I don't know if that'll ever happen, quite unlikely, but Dante from Devil May Cry. Well, that too would only make sense. And there could be some cool assist characters like Trish and Virgil and Lady, and he could make it work as a playable character. There's enough variety for him throughout the games. Then there's the Battletoads. They are slowly making some sort of a comeback, especially since Rash was in Killer Instinct. Billy Lee and Jimmy Lee from Double Dragon. Good old classic game from the 80s. Two fighters who are kind of Bruce Lee knockoffs in some respect while at the same time being their own thing. Give them a shot. Make them assists. Duke Nukem. I still love him. Everyone still loves him. Even if not everyone loved Duke Nukem forever. But Duke Nukem is forever. But he'd be fun at least as an assist. Lara Croft. I think she would be a cool addition. I don't know how she could work as a playable character, but at the very least she could be a really cool assist. That is, if you're going with the more classic Lara Croft. I don't know necessarily about the Neo Lara. B. Orchid, or really any Killer Instinct character. That game had some great ideas, some great characters, and there could be something fun you could do with that. And now some amusing mentions. Shovel Knight, one of the single most requested characters to appear in a Smash Bros. Game. I originally had him on the list, originally at number 7, and the next thing you know, he was announced as an assist character. Which kinda broke my heart, but at least he's in there. King K. Rool. He was originally my number 9, and he ended up being playable, which only made sense. It would have been stupid not to include him. And I was going to go with Simon Belmont for my number 5 choice, actually. Next thing you know, not only is Simon Belmont announced, so is Richter Belmont and Alucard as apparently the most unique assist character. I would have liked Alucard to be playable, but I can understand that it was originally the Belmonts that actually made Castlevania popular. Now, with all that out of the way, here we go. And BAM's number 1 choice for the next playable character in Smash Ultimate is Shantae. I mean, how could it not be? Why? Why was she not in Smash Wii U? Everywhere I looked, it seemed like she was the most requested character. Maybe I didn't look everywhere in Japan, or apparently parts of Europe, or maybe the whole voting thing was a farce, but I don't know. What I do know is that was a wasted opportunity. Shantae is one of the most unique characters in all of video games. She's a half genie, for God's sake. With so many cool abilities, this really cute, really charming personality. And she could easily be in a Smash game. And what's more, she's beyond popular now. She just became uber popular ever since the remakes happened. And what's more, you know what, just look. Just look. Shantae would work amazingly well. Again, link to the fan wiki down below. But there's no way how she could not work. She needs to be a playable character, no ands, ifs, or buts. As an assist trophy, that would be a sin. If she's not brought in somehow, I honestly think that would be nearing unforgivable. Shantae for Smash. We're begging you. So that's my list. By some prank of nature, are there any characters that are left out that you would like to see? Or do you think that there's enough going on right now for Smash Ultimate? Leave your comments in the comments section down below. And remember to subscribe, like, and remember to click that bell notification icon so that way you can keep up to date with my videos. Thank you very much for watching. This is David J.G. Doyle, signing off and thanking you.